Good day. Hopefully, you're having a wonderful TCAP experience. Today, we're going to be talking about the bubonic plague. In the Middle Ages, the bubonic plague killed so many people it was known as the Black Death. It killed almost 50 million people in just 3 years. The bubonic plague would attack the nervous system. It would make the lymph glands kind of swell up and create these blackish purple buboes on the skin. These buboes would eventually burst, and then there was kind of uncontrolled bleeding, and people would bleed to death. People would have other symptoms: the chills, the fever, convulsions, even night terrors and delusions. And this plague would kill 40% of the people that got it by day 2. By day 7, 80% of the people that got the disease would die. And by day 21, over 90% of the people that got the plague would be dead. So, how do humans get the disease? Basically, the bacteria infects the flea rides on rats, infects the rat dies, then the fleas find humans, bite the humans get the disease, the humans die. So we have this bacteria, Yersinia pestis. A flea comes along and ingests or eats something that has the bacteria in it. The bacteria multiplies, and the flea infects each of the hosts that it comes into contact with, if it's a rat, if it's a human, or any other animal. So a 3-year span, how does this happen? How does a plague start and spread and kill that many people in the span of 3 years? Well, let's look how it started. So it all started in China. In China, that's where the rats were from, they were having problems. They were having natural disasters like earthquakes and floods. This made the rats leave their homes and go to the place of man. And when they got near the men, the fleas, of course, jumped off the rats and onto the humans and started to spread the disease, the bubonic plague. The disease traveled along the Silk Road, all the way from China to Europe. The disease spread as fleas jumped from human to human and from rat to human, all along the trade route. The disease spread not only on land but also on sea. Rats would jump onto the ship, or diseased sailors would travel to the next port and spread the disease. At this time in Europe, they had also been going through a time of famine, where the crops were failing and people weren't getting enough food. So people were moving into cities, which put lots of people crammed into very tiny spaces. In 1347, the disease hit Europe, which was at the height of feudalism. And then the disease hit the social classes in different ways. The kings really and queens really weren't affected. The nobles also escaped with very few casualties. Usually about 25% of the knights were affected and died. The hardest hit groups were the peasants and the serfs, who were the working class and had really poor living conditions. They lost about a third of their population. There was one group that we didn't talk about yet: the church officials. The church officials helped the poor and had more exposure to the disease, and also had a very high mortality rate or death rate because of the disease. The disease spread quickly through Europe. within 3 years, killing about 50 million people. So overall, how did the plague affect Europe? Well, most of the people that died were in the lower classes, the workers. This left a shortage of labor. The people that did survive were now able to demand more wages for their work. As the workers demanded more money, the whole system and basis of feudalism just faded away.